Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the sixth symposium, Mikrotöne Small is Beautiful. I'm very happy to present the last block for today. We're very honored to present Soheil Shirangi. Am I saying your name right, pronouncing?
Yes, sure, it's true.
Thank you. Beyond the octave, the influence of non-Western tuning systems on Western contemporary music. And Mr. Soheil Shirangi is a composer, director, and music educator with over 14 years of experience in contemporary, classical, and experimental music. He's currently pursuing a graduate degree in composition at the San Francisco State University, where he also serves as a graduate assistant, supporting courses such as Open Ensemble, 20th Century Techniques, and Diatonic Harmony. A member of the National Association of Composers, USA, NACUSA, Shirangi has received numerous international accolades for his work. His music has been performed in Iran, Germany, Greece, Brazil, Italy, Romania, and the United States, and he has been recognized at the Tehran International Electronic Music Festival, MUSLAP, Electroacoustic Exhibition in Ecuador, and the Orginsky International Composition Competition. He's the founder and artistic director of Dreamhouse Ensemble, a Tehran-based group dedicated to performing contemporary music. With more than a decade of teaching experience, he has instructed piano, composition, and music theory at several prominent music academies in Tehran, mentoring students in creative development and personal composition. Shirangi's discography includes several published albums and collaborations, including Themes and Variations, Sonoritica #1, and Politics Aesthetics #4, released by notable labels in Berlin, Tehran, and the US. He has also contributed to international academic research with scores and articles achieved in the University of California, LA, scholarship platform, and presented at conferences in Moscow and San Francisco. With a deep commitment to both artistic exploration and education, Soheil Shirangi continues to shape a distinctive and globally engaged musical voice. So please welcome Mr. Soheil Shirangi. Please.
Thank you so much for introducing my resume. I'm Soheil. Today I'm so glad and excited to share a part of my actually article for you. And now I need to share my screen. Great.
Yes, perfect.
Nice to meet you, all musician and friends. Today I'm so excited for my article. I search and I explore the actually most inspiration of many giant composer, many giant composer in 20th century. They were fascinated by actually Asian countries, Asian cultures, and maybe Indian. I found several incredible masterpieces by influencing Maqam and many others, more and more example. I'm gonna start with introduction part. As you know, the most common tuning system is called 12-tone equal temperament. Divides the octave into 12 equal temperaments, or we call semitone. It's become the standard because allows the musician and composer to change key easily and play with other without sounding out of the tune. However, this system also limits the variety of sound. Over time, composer and musician began to look outside of this system to other culture and to history for new way of organizing pitch. And now I'm gonna tell you really quickly some important um, tips before actually fixing tuning 12 tone equal temperament. Before 12 system become so popular, Western music use other tuning system, as you know, like just intonation based on simple whole numbers ratio, like 3 to 2 or 5 to 4. These sound very pure, but don't work well when switching keys. Another one is mean tone temperament, a compromise that made a major third sound but introduced wolf intervals, which were unpleasant and unusable in some keys. 12-tone equal temperament fixed these problems by making intervals the same, even if they meant sacrificing natural purity. It's work by many great composers like Johann Sebastian Bach, Beethoven, and also we can observe in many modern orchestra. But it also flattened the sound, making every key sound too similar. Learning from other culture, as you know, that in 20th century, especially beginning part of the 20th century, the world became more connected. Western composers started to study music from other parts of the world. They discovered tuning systems that use different numbers of notes per octave and microtones, tiny small intervals, smaller than a semitone, even a semitone. Another topic I'm going to elaborate is really important, especially for many giant composers in 20th century. Indian music and their influence. Indian musicians use ragas, each with specific rules for melody, mode, and time of the day. They also use 22 shrutis. And as you, maybe some of you familiar, shruti is the smallest intervals of pitch that the human ear can perceive. And in Indian classic music, this allows musician and composer to bend notes, slide between them, and express deep, unique sound, deep, unique emotional feeling. Another one is maqam, Middle Eastern maqam. It's really popular in Persian music, Turkish, and Arabic music. There are so many different variety of maqam, which often include quarter tone, and this system are more flexible than Western scale. They focus on expression and mode, not just fixed notes. Another important influence is Indonesian gamelan. Gamelan orchestra use a slendro, that means 5 notes, 5 blocks, and plug 7 uneven notes. Each gamelan group tunes instrument differently, creating a rich, shimmering sound. Western composer loved its soft metallic tones and rhythmic cycle. Another one is African scale. In Africa, many instruments use pentatonic, as you know, the 5 notes, or heptatonic, 7 notes scale. These are not based on mathematical system, but also on local tradition and how they sound in real life. Music is taught by ear, and instruments are often tuned by hand to match the voice or drums in a village. This non-Western system inspired by many 20th century composers to move away from 12-tone equal temperament and explore microtonality music using pitch between usual notes. And now I'm going to tell you technology and microtonality as we observe that's super important in contemporary music. In the past, it was very hard to play microtonal music because it's a standard instrument couldn't play, especially between the notes. But 20th century technology changed everything. Synthesizer and computer software. Synthesizer made it possible to program any tuning system, and computer software let composer and any experimental artist actually with hundreds of notes per octave. Some composers build new actually own instruments and modified old one to play microtones. Now, microtonal music can be made and played without needing expensive hand-building instruments. And now I'm going to tell you great composer use of the microtonal in their music. Actually, there are, as you know, there are so many great composers who actually explore microtonality in their music. But today, I'm focused on a few of most influential figures, especially those who brought significant, important innovation to tuning system. Let's take a closer look at some great composer who helped shape the development of microtonal music through their groundbreaking work. Number one is Harry Partch. Harry Partch is known for us as the inventor of a new musical word. He was one of the first American composers to reject 12-tone equal temperament completely, and he believed that this system damaged the natural beauty of the music. He created a 43-tone scale based on just intonation, a system using simple numbers ratio because no regular instrument could play his music. Therefore, he had to create his own instrument. This includes chromodelaion, a modified organ, and another one is cloud chamber boards made from glass and many various string instruments tuned to exact harmony. And now I'm going to tell you one of the incredible masterpiece by Harry Partch. Delusion of the Fury included speaking, singing, movement, and theater. For Partch, music wasn't just sound, it was a full of body experience. He created a whole new world of sound that nobody had ever heard before that. And now I'm going to play a part of this awesome monumental music. Great. Another giant composer, I'm going to elaborate on Alois Haba. Alois Haba is a teacher of new sound, was from Czechoslovakia and taught in Prague Conservatory. He was one of the first people in Europe to write music using quarter notes. That means 24 notes per octave and 16 notes, 36 notes per octave. He believed that these smaller intervals could express modern feeling, such as a confusion, tension, or spiritual searching. He also helped design quarter tone pianos, which made it possible to play his music. He taught many students and wrote books about microtonality. Haba wanted microtonal music to be a serious classical music, not just as an experimental music. And Matka, that means mother, is a great monumental important. His work was full of quarter tones, a scale for both the singers and also the orchestra. Great. Another composer is Julian Carrillo. Was a Mexican composer who believed that music should go beyond the 12th tone. He created a system called Sonido 13. That means 13 sound, which included quarter, eight, and finally 16 notes. Carrillo didn't just write about these ideas. He built special pianos and string instruments that could play up to 96 notes per octave. He saw microtonality as the next step in music history, like a new language. He believed it could open people's ear as much as richer and creative, more creative as a deep sound in the world. His piece, Preludio a Colon, is a beautiful example of how tiny, small change pitch can create completely new sound. Great. And another composer is Ben Johnston. who made harmony deeper, was an American composer who expanded jazz intonation into classical form. He created a notation system that showed exactly how to play complex intervals using whole numbers ratio. He provided the microtonality could be expressive and clear, not just a strange or academic way. His music is now performed by many modern string quartets and is used to teach microtonality in universities. String quartet number 4 based on the hymn Amazing Grace. He starts with a simple version and slowly adds more complex harmonies. The result is beautiful, emotional, and deep, even though it used very advanced tuning system and also based on Western music. But he also used um, actually great creative idea for combination two modern technique together. Great. And the last composer I'm going to tell you is Lamont Young, great minimalist American composer. He studied Indian ragas and learned from Pandit Pran Nath, a great Indian singer. He created works like the well-tuned piano, which lasts for hours and use small pitch change to create a dreamlike feeling. His group, entitled The Theater of Eternal Music, play lying sustained tune where tiny pitch differences create magical resonance. Young's musician and young music is not about melody or rhythm. It's about listening very closely to sound. He helped start the minimalist movement, and you can find many composers and artists like Terry Riley and even electronic musicians were inspired by him. And now I want to play a part of the well-tuned piano. Great. And as a final part, as a conclusion part, a wider world of music. Composers like Harry Parch, Alois Haba, Julian Carrillo, Ben Jonson, and finally Lamont Young have changed the way we think about the music and tuning system. They show us music is not limited to 12 tone. Microtonality can express new emotion and ideas. Technology and non-Western tradition can help us create a bigger world of sound. Today, more and more composer, more and more composer use the microtone music and microtone system, and technology can help the musician really better compared than the past. And not just in the classic music. You can find many electronic and microtonal system, maybe in film music, electronic, and also experimental pop music. There are now many tools, application, synthesizer, let the composer and anyone, any amateur musician that want to explore new ideas, new tuning system. Microtonality is more than a style and cycle. It's a way of thinking, a philosophy of listening, and bridge between the culture, our culture. By going beyond the octave, we open our ear to a deeper and more colorful world. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any question, any points, please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Soheil,
You're welcome.
for your presentation. I would like to ask first in the group if anyone wants to throw any questions.
May I just also when you first of all, thank you very much for the presentation. It was like very interesting historical overview of, and also like to refresh some pieces that I really love. They're beautiful. And Harry Parch, I don't know whether you know this recording that you demonstrated. Was that who played that? Do you know?
Harry Parch.
Right, Harry Parch.
I'm not sure for now, but I think that was one of the ensemble in Poland.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe.
Because
Yes.
there is also, of course, a collection of Harry Parch instruments in Köln, in Colonia, initiated by the ensemble Musikfabrik. And I know that's myself because I studied in Köln, and I there was an opportunity, to look at these instruments, and it's, of course, it's amazing. So if you don't know, maybe that could be also interesting for you. I will share the link in the
Of
chat.
course, please.
Wait a second, this one. So.
Yeah, that was Musikfabrik. Yeah, the video. You were meaning the musicians from the video, Musikfabrik.
Yeah, so that's also the instrument they built. I think it's from their collections. Yeah, that's cool.
I think they did this project maybe now 10 years ago. I mean, I lose the notion of time, or maybe even more. Anyone knows? You
I
probably
think it
know,
was
right? Do you?
12 years ago. 12
Yeah.
years ago, because I was new to Germany and they did a concert in Kiel. And I,
Yes. Oh my God.
uh,
I remember like if it was just a couple of years ago. But mm, mm. Yes,
I think
yeah.
they do time to time, some because they have this collection, so they really want to use these instruments. It's not only to build once for one concert, right?
Of course.
Amazing.
may I ask a question?
Of course.
Please.
Okay. Do you think that those early composers, not Parch, but even the earlier ones, Haba, Carrillo, perhaps Vishnegradsky, Do you think that they were held back by their stylistic language, or thinking 100 years ago, was microtonality so challenging that it didn't become more popular?
I personally believe that many of them, like Haba, as you mentioned, they wanted to create a new sound, new personal sound
Mm.
with using microtonality. But many composers, as you know, in Western musical history, they were not sure for the types of music on microtonal music. Although, as we know, some composers like Lamontiang, actually he knows that for Indian music. But Haba and some composer in that time, I think that was the both of them. Either the as an experience in creating a new sound, and also as a uh, create maybe a slightly more popular music.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I, that is my vision. Maybe it's not true.
Well, I know that I think Haba and Carrillo worked with piano manufacturers, and one thing that they did was to make sure that the 12 chromatic scale was always available. I don't know if that's really their idea or the piano factory said, look, we have to keep the normal scale. And so they had quarter tones, sixth tones, eighth tones, but nothing stranger or weirder than that. But in the piece, one of your excerpts, Preludio a Colón, I
Yes,
noticed in the score that there were three scales. Is that right?
yes, yes.
Like a third or what? Can you tell me what those, do you remember what those scales are?
Of course, as I actually, unfortunately, I couldn't find a full score of this piece. I would only the access to video as I play you,
Mm,
and but in five first page, as I checked, yes, three elements is exploring and changing and modifying by the pitch, but gradually, little by little, not
okay,
sudden change.
okay. It
Yes,
sounded amazing, so now I'm going to look
incredible.
for it. Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that.
Thank you for asking.
Yes, if I may add, I mean, I agree completely with you, Yuri. It's really nice to have this overview because most of the presentations are very specific. I mean, it's not about comparing the quality, of course, but how nice to hear for me the beginning of Preludio a Colón. I think it works really fantastic, and I, as a composer, I identify also my ideas with Julian Carrillo in this example, or also philosophically to hear. We forget so many things continuously. The ideas, deeper ideas of Alois Haba or about microtonal music, with which I agree completely. So it's really is purifies a little bit. It's really nice to go through these composers. Actually, this is the base of the work we are all doing here.
Yeah.
Of course, exactly.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So, Carrillo, as I understand it, was really aiming to make his mark in the classical world, which a lot of microtonalists now, at least, aren't really doing so much. And I thought that was so interesting, and it's a little sad because he was, I guess you'd classify that as being ahead of his time. And I just wondered what you thought about that. And then if there's time, I had a little question about Ben Johnston too.
Sure. Sorry, what was your question?
Well, I just wondered what your thoughts were about Carrillo's aims, his intention, and his dream, really, and how that went, and why maybe some of the factors of why he couldn't really change classical music the way he thought, I think, was possible.
Of course, I strongly believe that Carrillo was one of the great composers throughout in modern music in at least 15 years ago. And I was fascinated when I was checking and exploring some scores during this process. And definitely, I agree that he was fascinated, especially from he comes from Mexico, and in Mexico, as we know, there are not any, especially in the contemporary music and music, that it's not contemporary music, as I know, it's not really more popular like maybe Latin music or pop music. But Carrillo, like one painter, Mexico painter, now I don't remember her name, was super modern, and he actually influenced by many great ideas, inspiration of Eastern philosophy, and he used several of these philosophy in order to create a deeper sound as a microtonal music. And in first page of the music masterpiece I played, Preludio e Colon. It's really beautiful when you want to hear microtonal music, but it's not. I'm not saying it's not totally, but you can hear lots of pleasant sound. Although he used microtonal music, microtonal system, and that's going to be really amazing and different composer to me, Carrillo.
If I may, unfortunately, I don't remember the precise information. There's a political content on the unsuccessful career of Julian Carrillo. And it's something to do with the ministry. There was a competition between two composers. I can't remember who the other composer is, so I'm thinking of somebody, but I don't dare to mention his name in case I'm wrong. I'm trying to find this here on the books. We have like 100 articles published on these 6 books. Microtones, Small is Beautiful is 5 volumes, and then one also from the Congress, Microtonal Congress in New York, and possibly, I mean, I'm sure from this one will appear some more. Otherwise, there's all of the lectures, because somebody was talking specifically about these political problems and about Julian Carrillo. This information should be on the website, on the YouTube channel of the Ecmelic Society. I posted there before, because we were mentioning about one video, and then I connected this to about Johnny Reinhardt, because we were having a beautiful discussion 4 years ago, 6 years ago, something like this. Johnny Reinhardt was participating really very active in a discussion, and I think through the history for me was one of the most interesting discussion we have after the lectures, and we stayed like talking 1 hour after all the presentations, a long day, and so that's why it should be in one of these videos. So if anyone wants to check on the videos, I'm sure these political elements in the career that actually, limited the career of Julian Carrillo it was very strong. Actually, he was very. There was a lot of boycott to his music in Mexico. But I don't remember exactly this kind of information. But I know it's there. I can check if I have some moments. I will check, and I might post it on the Ecmelic Facebook website, or maybe I write an email, something like this, I'm gonna be very busy for the next days, but I wrote it down. So if I have the chance, I will do it.
Of course, thank you.
And maybe Todd is talking.
Thank you. I think it was the same year that I was there because there were three people from Mexico giving talks about Carrillo. That was 2017, but it's not in the book.
Yeah,
I don't
yes.
think
So
all the
yeah,
talks were published.
yeah, because we had in total. I'm doing a presentation tomorrow about what the legacy of Rita Herf,
Yeah.
founder of the Ecumenic Society in Salzburg 44 years ago. And so I realized it's not nothing really academic. This presentation tomorrow is a little bit of information about the work we do together, you and we here, and us here. And we had almost 200 lectures about microtonal topics, and it's really great. Very different young composers at this level, at the other, and compositional ideas, and it's really amazing. And I know that yeah, I remember some aspects were very political actually. We used to have always blogs about Julian Carrillo.
Oh,
This year
okay.
somehow Julian Carrillo doesn't play a huge role like he did more or less in every symposium. But we keep receiving a lot of proposals, and we do our best to select as many as possible. And sometimes if Julian Carrillo is not sent, that scholars and so are not so active, or they don't have time to present these days. So yeah, we'll miss it this time. But
Okay.
yeah, thank you, Todd, for checking. I also remember I'm not just only a microtonal composer. For me, it's just a part of my work. So my brain is full with many things. I'm not very good memorizing things. I'm used to forgetting a lot of things, but then I go to the information sources and I check. That's the way my
Yeah.
brain works. Yeah.
No, that's healthy. That's normal. That's good.
And, I wish I could memorize much more. Yeah. Oh my God, I think it's yes, I think we have to go to the next one. Huh? I was yes. So Ali Balighi is waiting.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah, so Soheil, thank you very much for your presentation, for sharing your work with us, and thank you for this active conversation to everyone. And yeah, so congratulations, and we will move on to the last presentation of the day. So it is a pleasure for me to present. Sorry, I was distracted. I need a few seconds to prepare. Ali Balighi, Dastgah. Or how do you pronounce this? Dastgah.
Yes, it is correct. Dastgah.
Dastgah. Yeah, because like some people I hear in Turkey like makam, but then Iranian side magan, and I'm very far away from Middle East languages,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So Dastgah, algorithmic exploration of Persian microtonality and serialism in a multi-channel environment. Ali Balighi is an Iranian composer, welcome, sound designer and audio engineer whose work explores the intersection of contemporary composition, electroacoustic music, and Persian musical traditions. Currently pursuing his Doctor of Musical Arts in Composition at Texas Tech University. I think maybe your mentor wrote to me. I met him not long ago. You see, I'm very bad for names. I will mention later. I don't want to interrupt. He holds a master's in composition from the same institution and a bachelor in music performance from the University of Art in Tehran. Balighi's music has been performed internationally at major festivals including Sonic Matter, New York CMMF, Clarinet Fest, and the Tehran Contemporary Music Festival. His compositions, such as Too Loud, A Solitude, Cain Hafton, and Daramat series, blend traditional instruments with fixed media and live electronics. His creative output spans contemporary chamber works, algorithmic compositions, and soundtracks for film and video art. An active researcher and educator, he has presented on music technology and electroacoustic composition at conferences and serves as a graduate part-time instructor at Texas Tech. He's the artistic director of the Gilgamesh Composition Competition and a jury member for multiple electronic music festivals. He published albums and poetry books, along with numerous awards and residencies, reflect a deeply interdisciplinary practice. Balighi is a member of the Millennium Composers Initiative, ASCAP, and the Iran Music House. So please welcome Ali Balighi.
Thank you very much for introducing me. And first, Soheil, can you please disconnect to the share screen? That I can't share my screen. I don't have your voice.
Sorry, I should have mentioned this before. I forgot. So please go ahead.
No problem. Yeah. Today I want to present my music that it was published by Post-Orientalist Music label, and it is I focus on contemporary music, electronic, and specialization, and in the same time Persian music. And I want to share my.
By the way, I'm taking some pictures and I'm making videos for the channel. Okay, so I will send you the pictures later.
Thank you. Hello again, everyone. My name is Ali Balighi. Today I will share my recent research and composition named Dastgah, Algorithmic Exploration of Persian Microtonality and Serialism. This work is about more than writing a new piece, at least for me. It is about building a bridge between the deep-rooted Iranian Dastgah model system and contemporary algorithmic and serialism composition, using technology as a creative tool. I walk you through the cultural and musical background of the Dastgah system, explain how I embed its unique microtonal intervals into a real-time generative environment using Super Collider, and share how this project challenges both Western musical paradigm and traditional ideas about authorship and creativity. My aim is to show that technology can be used not to erase cultural specificity, but to reimagine and expand it, leading to new hybrid models of composition and performance. How can I? Dastgah is both an original composition and a model for cross-cultural algorithmic music. The piece extends the methods of 12-tone serialism to a 17-tone matrix derived from Persian microtonal intervals. This expanded pitch set is at the heart of Persian classical music, and my project reinterprets it using the Super Collider programming environment. Here, classic serial transformations such as prime retrograde inversion and retrograde inversion are applied to culturally specific microtonal pitch sets. The system also generates rhythm, dynamic, and specialization in real time, so each performance is unique. By fusing Persian model nouns with algorithmic rigor, Dastgah not only challenges Western tuning paradigm, but also shows how computational tools can be parents for culturally inclusive creativity. Ultimately, this work is both a musical and theoretical experiment, asking how technology can mediate between deep tradition and contemporary innovation. This project builds on earlier exploration of how Iranian model thinking can be integrated with technology. In my previous compositions, such as Walking in the Darkness for Solo Santur, algorithmic logic was used to shape melodies based on the traits of Persian modes. Later in Daromad for Tar and Fixed Media, I used Iranian instrument performance with fixed media sound and electroacoustic sound in a sentence. This work established strategies for using computations as a partner in expressing the subtleties of Persian music. Dastgah advances this trajectory by moving from algorithmic augmentation to full integration, embedding microtonal Persian pitch structures directly into a generative system. The question became, what if the structural logic of the music itself was Persian, not just the surface? This shift is what defines Dastgah and distinguishes it from earlier, more additive approaches to cross-cultural composition. The Dastgah system is at the heart of Persian classical music, which Dastgah contains a network of model motifs named Gushe in Persian and centered around unique intervals like neutral seconds and three-quarter tones. Interval not found in Western music, of course. These microtonal inflections are essential for expression and emotion and are internalized by musicians through oral tradition. Koron and Sori symbols mark these intervals, helping musicians convey feelings that standard Western notes cannot. In my project, these microtones form the basis of the 17-tone pitch matrix. By embedding these intervals directly into the algorithmic system, the work preserves the emotional nuance of the Dastgah tradition and brings new timbral and expressive possibilities to computer-generated music. Serialism in Western music is about organizing the 12 chromatic pitches through systematic transformations. But Persian music is more improvisational, with ornamentation and expressive timing at its core. These differences present both technical and aesthetic challenges. Dastgah bridges them by expanding the serial matrix to 17 tones, matching the Persian microtonal intervals. In a state of similarly layering traditions, the piece integrates them structurally, very difficult word. Serial operation like prime or inversion now act on microtonal pitch sets, respecting Persian musical logic. This allows the rigor of serialism and the flexibility of Persian model improvisation to inform each other, making possible a new kind of musical hybridity rooted in structure, not just surface style. As you can see in my project, in PowerPoint, it is some part of my coding in Super Collider. And I just use Super Collider for this composition, and I connected all hardware to Super Collider for a performance, but I recorded the multi-channel piece and I converted it to a stereo version, and it was published in the album by Post-Orientalist music label that I will play it later in the end of this presentation. In Dastgah, everything is coded in Super Collider. At its core is a 17-tone row built from actual Persian inner words, encoded as MIDI values. The system applies serial transformation, prime, retrograde, inversion, retrograde, inversion to this row. Unlike automation, this framework is generative. It creates endless new variations by applying this transformation in real time. Super Collider is essential here, combining powerful synthesis with flexible live coding. The piece does not follow a fixed score, but instead exists as a dynamic system, producing unpredictable but culturally grounded musical results. The algorithm does not just imitate Persian music, it internalizes its logic, allowing tradition and technology to collaborate. To reflect in the improvisation spirit of Persian performance, I designed the algorithm to be unpredictable. For every musical moment, the system randomly chooses both which serial transformation to use and where to start with the pitch row. This randomness built in the Super Collider code ensure that every performance is different, mirroring how traditional musicians constantly reshape material in real time. This dynamic open structure is inspired by both Persian improvisation and aleatory technique in Western music, but with the Dastgah model logic at its center. As a result, Dastgah always evolves, never repeating itself, making each realization a living, breathing version of the tradition. Dastgah is about more than pitch. Each generated note is mapped to a custom synthesizer and placed into low, mid, high, and post-high register. Rhythm is shaped by random timing functions, avoiding mechanical pattern and creating organic, flexible pulses. Dynamics and amplitude change through randomized envelopes. Super Collider's specialization function let me move sound through 4 speakers, enveloping the listener and echoing the immersive sonic space of Persian architecture. The result is a multi-layer sound world, digital and acoustic, structured and unpredictable. This dimension, time, rhythm, space are integral to the work, creating a sonic environment as rich and nuanced as its model foundations. By embedding tradition with the algorithm, Dastgah challenges the notion of the composer as sole author. The computer guided by my system becomes a creative partner, generating, transforming, and improvising with the material I provide. This hybrid model blurs the boundaries between composition and performance, and finally, improvisation. My rule shifts to designing system between my musical intention and machine's generative logic, leading to outcomes that are always rooted in Persian tradition, but also open to surprise and transformation. It's a new way of thinking about creativity and cultural continuity in algorithmic music. The The structural result of Dastgah are unique, at least for me. The 17-tone matrix with its Persian microtones produce ever-evolving symmetrical forms. Traditional serialism symmetry is replaced by a mosaic-like, constantly shifting narrative that mirrors the improvisation unfolding of a live Dastgah performance. Serial transformation create new melodic and harmonic pathways, but always within the expressive logic of Persian music. The system's random selection ensures no two performances are alike, preserving sense of discovery and unpredictability. In this way, Dastgah offers a new approach to musical structure, one that is both rigorously organized and deeply fluid, uniting tradition and innovation at a foundational level. Dastgah's use of microtonality expands the expressive possibility of algorithmic composition. Listeners experience subtle pitch inflection that conveys state of tension, longing, and spiritual depth, quality essential to the Dastgah tradition. Studies confirm that with exposure, listeners can learn to perceive and appreciate these microtonal intervals, broadening their musical horizons. For audience familiar with Persian music, the work resonates with cultural memory. For new listeners, it offers an introduction to alternative ways of hearing and feeling in music. Here, microtonality is not an ornament, but a core component, shaping both cognition and emotion and redefining the listening experience for all. Sound design is central to Dastgah. Supercollider allows me to tune oscillators to microtonal frequencies, producing tones that are bright and glassy, remnants of the tar and nay, but with a digital twist. Small detuning and filters add shimmer and depth, while multi-channel specialization creates a constantly shifting sense of space, much like the domes and courtyard of Persian architecture. These layers of time and specialization are not just background, they are active participants in the musical narrative. Research shows that such complexity heightens listener engagement, making texture and space as essential as pitch to the work's expressive power. A major innovation in Dastgah is the system's improvisational agency. The algorithm constantly transforms pitch and rhythm in real time, guided by random processes that mimic human creativity. Each run of the piece is a new realization, unique, unpredictable, and shaped by both system, logic, and chance. This approach decentralized authorship, making the computer an active co-performer. It invites listeners to experience music as an unfolding event rather than a fixed artifact. The interplay of deterministic structure and stochastic freedom makes Dastgah a living system, always in dialogue with itself and its cultural sources. Dastgah is an aesthetic proposition. Tradition and technology can meet at a structure, not just a stylistic level. Instead of quoting Persian music on the surface, the work fuses model logic and algorithmic process deeply, creating a sonic third space, neither strictly Iranian nor strictly Western. For Persian audience, echoes of familiar modes activate memory. For others, Dastgah offers a radically different musical language. This expressive ambiguity is intentional, inviting all listeners to navigate new ways of hearing and understanding cultural identity in music. Ethical questions are central to algorithmic cross-cultural music. In Dastgah, I draw on personal experience and deep study of Persian music, aiming for a respectful, insider approach to embedding tradition in the code. This avoids cultural appropriation and treats Iranian musical logic as living logic, as living knowledge. As a composer, I act as curator and designer, creating conditions for music to emerge rather than dictating outcomes. This approach aligns with new thinking about musical authorship, creativity, and the responsibility we bear when bringing cultures together with technology. Each performance of Dastgah is a new negotiation of identity, openness, and respect. To conclude, Dastgah is a model for deeply integrated cross-cultural algorithmic composition by embedding Iranian microtonality in the structural logic of a generative system. The work spans both serialism and musical tradition. Supercollider enables a real-time evolution and improvisation of flexibility, brings tradition into dialogue with technology rather than superficial fusion. Dastgah offers a reflexive, ethical, and open-ended approach to hybridity, challenging how we think about culture, authorship, and music in digital age. And if you let me, I want to play some part of my piece. I hope I can. Sorry, do you have the sound? Great.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much for listening to some part of my piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, well, very nice music. And
Thank you.
Joseph Klein, I wanted to say before, Joseph Klein sent me his regards for you. And I I was reading and I couldn't think of his name, but of course, yeah, I apologize. And yeah, so I would like to ask in the group, we are 3 minutes ahead of time, even 3 minutes. So if any of you have any questions for Ali.
May I? I don't, thank you very so much. And I don't have a question. I just want to point out that I really appreciate your thoughts on authorship and agency, and I've been thinking about this too lately, and I had to write something recently, and it's a relevant question for people who are working with software or computer, or as you said, creating conditions, and that you are a system designer, which I think is a really accurate way of describing something which is still a work of art, but you're not writing an artifact which is fixed. Instead, maybe it's like a mobile, a little bit like when a sculptor makes a thing that moves, and every day it's in a different position. And with your Dastgah, every time you run it, it has a different output, and yet you are still responsible for creating those conditions. And yeah, this question of authorship is a very interesting one. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, it is very, I believe that it is very important that we know our rule, all of us, in digital age. I mean, everything is going to be changed with AI. The writer is not writer anymore. I mean, Dostoevsky, we cannot find Dostoevsky anymore because we have AI. And with technology, we should understand and redefine our role as a composer. And I think technology can help us to see ourselves and define the existence of ourselves as a composer or musician or researcher. And I think it is very important for researcher to find the best way of defining it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I also would like to add that I totally agree with Todd. It's actually the same, like very same thoughts also came into my mind during your presentation about the authorship, first of all, and of course about the improvisation and Persian culture, that I think that it's very like organic way, a natural way of interconnected influence, because you also show these ornaments. And to me, although I'm not an expert in Persian music and culture, but I had read some treatises like Urmavi, for instance, this the book of cycles, translated in translation, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also wanted to point out that I think that was Noam Chomsky, and his answer when he was asked whether there is some one thing in the world that he's still fascinating about, like wondering, and he basically said that it is our capacity as human beings to render endlessly like combinations of words using limited um, amount of words. So, and the improvisation is very much about this, and also to the definition of intelligence, among other things, of course, it's the capacity to improvise and to behave like not really unpredictably, but like differently, always like variations on variations. And really, looking forward to how it will develop with your work.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions? Soheil, maybe? No.
Yes, yes. I have no any question, but I want to uh, appreciate Ali and all of you for amazing presentation, and especially Ali and I we are old friend, and I know many composition of Ali, and that was a great presentation. Thank you so much, Ali.
Thank you, Soheil. Thank you for your presentation and also your
Of course.
comment.
I see you all smiling. I'll take a last picture.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah. Thank you so much. We still have some minutes. I don't know if somebody wants to reflect something. Thank
And
you.
I want to say thank you to all of you for, especially you, Augustine, for creating this opportunity and managing everything. And fortunately, during this time, I think it is the only only conference that focus on microtonal music. And I feel that I'm alone. I live in Texas, and anyone hates my music because it is microtonal. And I always feel I'm alone and anyone cannot understand me. But thank you for creating that place for this conference that I can feel that I'm a member of a community.
Absolutely. You are a family member. We are small is beautiful, but we are not so small. And it is a pleasure to get to know your music uh, and your work and to be shared with people all over the world. And we are a small group at this time of the of live, but this is gonna be documented on the YouTube channels, and that's gonna stay there. And if you want to write about your presentation, that's gonna be also documented in these books. And it's really a pleasure to have your developments and your work with us. Thank you so much. Thank you all for making this event. Yeah, so if we still have 10 minutes, if any thoughts, otherwise, maybe we can say good night in Europe. And yeah, good afternoon still in California. Good morning. And I hope I can get to see you tomorrow. Still two online presentations. It might be that another one comes. I need to organize this. I need to check, and I also need to be like improvising minute by minute, more or less, and trying to do my best that it works for all of us. So
is that correct that tomorrow there are two presentations left, or like they planned at least?
yes, and then the other ones, I tried one year to be in present, and at the same time in Zoom, and it's we
Yeah.
a very small
Hybrid
group of
doesn't really
people.
work, right?
We really need technical support,
Yeah.
and that year we tried maybe 2 years ago or 4 years ago. It didn't really work, and then we decided. And anyway, we just do the videos, and then you get this information and or maybe the articles, whatever. Unfortunately, we are really really a small group, and that didn't work. And this year we didn't even try actually, but.
Yeah, that's fine. It's even better. I mean, that's there because otherwise you have kind of to split
Yes,
yourself.
and then you have your own all mind. You can watch everything that it's talked. You get everything anyway a little bit later.
Okay.
Oh,
So thank you so much, everyone, and yeah. So I'll see you next time. Congratulations, Ali. Thank you so much for your
thank you
presentation,
very much.
and everyone. So have a good night. All the best. See you tomorrow, probably, or see you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you.